Yo, what's going on, guys? And today I wanted to talk about the Los Angeles Clippers. I really do believe that they're one team that needed to be named the absolute dark horses of the NBA in terms of being able to do what maybe the Miami Heat are the only team to have ever done. Well, they are the only team, but I don't know if the Clippers are going to be a play-in team or a sixth seed, but they're going to be one of the two. And they could join the Heat as a lower ranked seed to make a run in the playoffs. I think as long as Kawhi Leonard is healthy, you got enough guys in James Harden and Norman Powell as the other two scorers to hold up. You got defense all throughout this team, and you got one of the best centers, arguably a top 5, if not a top 10 center in the NBA this season, in Ivica Zubats. So I think when you look at a team like the Clippers, why not them? I think that's one of the biggest things that people kind of but are kind of just disregarding is a Tyronn Lue coach team can still be a threat. And let's put it together. They're 35-29 last night. We saw that buzzer beater by Kawhi Leonard. Yes, I know they're ninth worst in points per game, but they are the fourth best in opponents' points per game. So even though they do allow, or they still outscore opponents by 2 points a game, even though they only score 110 points a night themselves. Their net rating is 9th best. They're the 4th best defense, 10th worst offense. And they were expected to only win, 36 games, to be 36-28 at this point. And guess what? They're 35-29. So they're kind of right where the math would put them. To me, I thought they've done great. Also, the addition of Bogdan Bogdanovic, I think, has been solid, as well as Ben Simmons. I know Ben Simmons is only averaging like 7 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds a night. But you also have Bogdan out there averaging, 11.5 points for them when he plays. You got 18 from Kawhi, 16 from Zubats, 24 from Norman. James is giving you 22 a night. Derek Jones Jr. and Amir Coffey are both giving you like 10 apiece. And yeah, you still have Chris Dunn. By the way, you know who's been like actually way better with this team than he was in Australia? Trenton Flowers. That one's blown my mind. And I know Nick Batum might be a little, not over the hill, but it's not a perfect fit. I also like Drew Eubanks here. He's been what they've needed, but Nick Batum looks all of 36 years old. They play him every night, but he's really in this role like player, and it doesn't seem like they're gonna have him do anything more than just continue to play set a role. But I don't know. And still, they have Patty Mills. If they need to break the glass, he's there. So to me, there's just so many pieces on this team that I really like what they have going here. And for a squad that when healthy, I think is capable of matching up with anybody. They have enough depth. Like, as we said, Kawhi, James Harden, Norman Powell, Kawhi, James Harden. I guess they have been starting like Chris Dunn, and Zubats is pretty solid starting 5, if we had to say so ourselves. And yeah, like I really like that starting 5. I think it's a solid one right there. You have 5 guys, then you throw in Bogdan, who's 6, 7 Amir Coffey, 8 Derek Jones Jr. We haven't even gotten to Ben Simmons, which is 9. And then you throw in your 10th guy, Drew Eubanks. And that's when you get into Nick Batum. Well, I guess Nick Batum's not even in that main rotation. So then you get into like 11, Nick Batum, 12, if you want to say Kobe Brown or Jordan Miller, 13, Patty Mills, or Jordan Miller, or whoever. Like, this team's just so deep that I know there's injury concerns. Obviously, Ben Simmons isn't playing back-to-back, and we know that Norman Powell has the hamstring thing. still, for how versatile this team is, they have enough defenders on this squad, from obviously Kawhi being a great defender, Derek Jones Jr. being a solid defender, Ben Simmons, Chris Dunn. We got 4 defenders we've already mentioned. Jordan Miller's a solid defender. Nick Batum isn't what he once was, but he can still defend. And the thing is that Bogdan, if you need him to, he can defend too. So you got a lot of defense on this side. And I know some people are going to be like, well, there's no rim protection. Nobody's protecting the rims. All right. By the way, you want to hear something wild? Guess who's averaging a block a game with Zubats? Nobody. But Ben Simmons, James Harden, Kawhi, Batum, and Dunn, and Derek Jones Jr. are all averaging like half a block a game. So it's like, you gotta have a block, you gotta have a block, you gotta have a block. And it ends up averaging almost 4.5 blocks a game. Still, team isn't a rim protector, but they're contesting shots. They're doing what needs to be done. And I honestly think this is a team that's done a fantastic job of just being able to push the pace and force teams to play their style. Like, this is a team that is clearly defense first, and then we're just going to play methodical, play our style of basketball, and we'll win games that way. And I think sometimes when teams play like that, that really is one of the best offenses to do, because it allows a team to force them to play the way that they want to play. And I think that's one of the smartest things you can do as a franchise, because when you don't have a star, you don't have an overwhelmingly dominant offense, the best way to do things is to force the team to play their offense the way you want their offense to play, and then that allows your offense to play the way that you want to play. And you get to, and I think they do a good job of physically imposing their will against other teams, and just having enough point of attack is to make teams uncomfortable, because they have enough players to either play. I know the biggest concern is shooting. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, this team's going to win a shootout, because they won't. And that's something we'd have to just address, because it's definitely a concern for a team that, as a whole, I want to say, what are they shooting? I want to look at I did not look at their 3-point shot numbers, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, it's a team that, okay, so as a whole, they're shooting 35.8% on 34 attempts a night. Not really the best numbers in the world, but beggars can't be choosers. And I mean, to me, I think you got yourself a squad with the Clippers being able to, I think if we look at their team stats, and so they're 16th in 3-point percentage, but they're 3rd worst in 3-point makes, and 2nd worst, or 4th worst in 3-point makes, and 2nd worst in 3-point attempts. So, or 3rd worst. So, like, man, they are not a good 3-point team. Like, they hit them at a decent percentage, but let's be honest, they're not over here going ahead and clipping them at the highest number, or putting them up at a high number. However, basically at every team defensive stat, this is one of the better ones in the league. And to me, I think that plays a big part in all of this, and why they've been able to just, I guess, be so effective with not one of the best offenses, as they're able to take advantage of other teams playing. Like, again, like I said, free throws, everything. They also get to the free throw line a decent bit. And for being a team that isn't one of the better rebounding teams, they do a good job of making up for everything else. Now, if they can cut down on their turnovers, I think that would be huge. But they're great at steals. Their assists aren't great, but they don't have a true point guard besides James Harden. So I think they're doing good with what they have. And this is why they are a team that nobody wants to see in the playoffs. They have enough guys in Harden, Powell, and Kawhi to create for themselves, enough defense and rebounding to do everything you need to make a deep playoff run.